Fantastic. All right. Can you give me the thumbs up to say that you can? Don't know why this is going crazy on me. Right. Okay, just to remind you, if you wouldn't mind, please just turning your videos off and your microphones off. That would be fantastic. And I'm hoping everyone can see the slides now. Brilliant. Okay, so welcome this evening to my webinar this evening. As I just quickly mentioned, if you have a question, just answer your question in the chat box. I am a swimming teacher and a business owner just like you, and I feel at this time during this pandemic and this strange time that we need to come together as a community and share ideas and see what each of us are doing, just to give ourselves some fresh and refreshing ideas, really. So I wanted to put this webinar together for you, the swimming teachers, so that I'm sure you're looking for these inspiring and innovative ideas for your swimming lessons. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through what I do in my swimming lessons. I have been teaching for 27 years. And like I said, I am a swimming teacher. I'm not a presenter. My comfort zone is in the pool. So then what I will do is I'll then finish up with the formula that I use to create these epic lesson plans. So let's hopefully see how this works. So are you feeling during this time fearful, frustrated, concerned, and confused? Have you been researching endlessly and you just can't find what you're looking for? There's loads of information out there. Your heart is racing as you feel that you're drowning with loads of information. You're bombarded with so many different options and you're struggling with knowing what to do for best. So you're looking for this inspiration, and you come across lesson plans like this. And I know I did many years ago, and you've got topics and aim of lessons and lesson objectives and assumed prior knowledge and assessments and differentiation and timing and reflection. It goes on and on and on. And on top of this, you have your family life to manage. You have to remember all your normal everyday stuff, and you have other deadlines in your personal life. And quite simply, you're exhausted, because I know I am. But please don't worry. I know I have the solution. And this is little Pippa here, bless her. She's absolutely adorable with her mum, and I hope she's put a smile on your face, because she certainly does with me. So my solution is my swim program. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of information about who I am. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm Helen Hughes. This is my husband, Gary. And this was actually taken Friday on BE Day here in the UK. And I was attempting to look like a 40s lady. This is my son, Harry. And he's also known as Batman. Today he was Flash. And any other type of superhero than he would be happy to be. And this is not only my sister, she's also the co-owner of our business, Mini Water Adventurers. And she is our moderator this evening. So my teaching journey started quite a few years ago. I was actually joined a local swim school when I was 11, a little bit later than some people, and I was a competitive swimmer. And this is actually a picture I picked out of the archives of me. That's me circled. And this was actually the age of where I started being an assistant in the water on a Saturday after I actually did my swimming, my training myself. I loved it so much. I just loved being with the children, showing my age now, that when I was old enough, I did my qualification through the ASA, the Amateur Swimming Association, which is now known as Swim England. So that was when I was able to do that. I also, fast forward a couple of years later, I did my sports science degree at University of Portsmouth, go Pompey. And then a year later, I actually did my postgraduate certificate education at University of Oxford. So I am a qualified teacher. So about in 2006, my husband and I, we moved to Florida, and so I then started up. I loved obviously wanting to continue with my swimming. So this is when I actually started and designed my Helen's Fishes Club. So Helen's Fishes Club was born, and I was mobile initially. I was traveling to people's home pools and community pools. I would pack up my car and had 15 towels in my car, and off I went for the day. I did between 12 and 15 lessons a day, and I was doing 6 days a week. I built an extremely successful swim school, and it was absolutely beautiful. And it was very strange because I was so used to swimming in a building, and then all of a sudden I was teaching when I could see the sky. And sometimes even now today I slip up and say, look up at the sky when we're on our backs, and now I have to change it to ceiling again. But so I just absolutely was just loved where it was. So then in about 2012, we bought a house, and I was blessed, and we were blessed enough to have a space in our garden of where I was able to design my own pool. And that's where I then started doing swimming lessons from home. And again, it was absolutely fantastic. So in 2015, I became mum, and this is my beautiful boy, our beautiful boy, Harry. And he is my huge inspiration as to how and why Mini Water Adventurers is now to this day here. We actually moved back to the UK in 2016. I was blessed enough to be able to be at home, stay at home mum. Until Harry went to nursery. I then started missing obviously teaching again, and I wanted to start up my swim school again. So I started from nothing again. Obviously we'd just come back from Florida, and so Little Fish Big Fish came together. Myself and Catherine designed our Little Fish Big Fish swim school, and that went live in 2019. About a couple of months later, we actually rebranded. So we went from Little Fish Big Fish to Mini Water Adventurers. And in the meantime, I have designed what's called now the Orca swim trainer, and I will talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But that has gone to manufacture. And just before COVID-19, just before coronavirus, we were taking pre-orders, and unfortunately now at the moment it is a standstill, but it's still, we've tried and tested it for the past year, and they are amazing, which I will talk about a little bit later on. So that's my journey, and I am very proud to bring you my swim program, and I'm calling it the Purposeful Play Swim Program. During this time of coronavirus, I have been resourceful with my time. I am so excited to be able to share you and have this opportunity to share with you. Tonight, I just wanted to show you, when I do go into talking about the creating of the epic lesson plans, where this fits into my swim program. So there are 4 elements to my swim program, and it's sensory, water, interaction and movement. And like I said, I'll go into more detail a little bit at the end as to how it all marries together. And I will also talk a little bit about the 6-week workshop that I'll be offering, which goes into these 4 elements into more detail, which obviously can't spend that much time going through everything today. So taking its time, sorry. So I wanted to show you with those 4 elements where the EPIC lesson plans fit into the swim program. So the EPIC activities fits into the water section, and this is where we'll be creating your EPIC kit bag. So how do we do this? So you're probably asking first, well, what does EPIC mean? I've said it a few times now, and I briefly explained it on for those that did get the correct email about very briefly what EPIC means. So it's a perfect acronym for explore, play, investigate, and create. So by using all of these 4 areas, explore, play, and investigate, and create, this enables, and I'm able then to formulate all the activities and the games and everything by using these 4 key areas, key areas. All right, so each session that I do, I base myself on these 4, as well as obviously, I'll show you how this interrelates with the SWIM as well. So each session enables a child to explore and experiment, and it's very much child-led. So during my sessions, I'm very much allowing the child to go off and explore. All right. It's very much, I'm there as a facilitator, and the child is able, I roll with the child as to how they want to go into more detail about which skill sets that they might want to focus on more so. The play part of it is enabling them to learn through play, and they're having fun. So when a child is playing and having fun, they are learning they're learning how to swim in a playful way, which means that they actually don't know what they're doing, and they're enjoying themselves. The activities are age related, and I'll briefly explain in a little bit for the different levels that I have when I go through my lesson plans, about how I formulated for the levels that I have and why they're age related. I do go through the investigation, so the children are learning through trial and error, which taps into also the sensory side of things, with the body awareness sense, which I'll go on to a little bit in a moment. So obviously learning through trial and error is really important for a child. Some parents spend a lot of time with the baby and me classes, or the parent and me classes, very much on top of the child to tell them what to do and where they need to go, as the teacher is telling them what they need to be doing next. And this enables a child to really figure out, and I feel it's really important that that's how a child learns, rather than us keep having to tell them all the time what to do. And then the creation, the creation of creating memories and using those 7 senses. So in swimming, we have 7 senses. We don't just have the normal 5 of the sight, the smell, the hearing. We also have body awareness and the balance. And without those, it's making sure that the child is really using that learning, in a playful and creative way. So this on the left hand side just shows you about how they interrelate, because without one area, the other area doesn't necessarily work. A bit like swimming, really. If their legs stop, then they don't move, their motor is stopped. So this is why this program really works. And in the 6-week workshop, I'm able to go into more detail about this if that's what you find interesting. All right, so what I find that is really important is to what makes you authentic. So what is your USP? We're all swimming teachers, we're all teaching the children to swim. We've got our parents in the water with them, or grandparents or carers in the water. And why are they coming to you? What makes you authentic? So if you weren't able to get the questionnaire, I do apologise. I did send a quick questionnaire through for those that were interested in what style of teacher that you are. There were 6 of them, and I'll just briefly put them up here. I'm not going to go through them all. I thought that would just do something fun for you to go through to see which ones. I was actually a couple of them. So you might have found that you are more predominantly one than the other. I feel it's really important to know how you teach and the style of teacher that you are, to enable to be as creative, or how you want to structure your lessons. So you might find that the one-off teacher is more that you prefer doing private lessons, or you might find, if you're the style of teacher where you are what's classed as the big conference teacher, you like being on poolside and you have the swimmers in the water and you're teaching that way. So I think it's really important to know how and who you are as a teacher, to be authentic, and to be who you are. Bringing yourself to the water, bringing your your personality and that. So some of you might have found that you're a couple of them. Some of you might have found that you're predominantly one than the other. There is no right or wrong way of how you teach. That's who you are, and that's fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through an example of how I found it easier to design my lesson plans. I found back in the day that when they gave you all the structure of the lessons from doing my qualifications, I understand why they did it, but for me, I found an easier way, and how I've done it is trying to be as simplistic as possible. So for those that are starting out, I think that it will help you a lot to know which to use these key elements, and using the bones, if you like, to go off there. All right, so I'm going to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple of examples of how what I've been doing in my swimming lessons. I will then also give some examples of some of the group songs that I sing. Then I'll also give us some examples of the activities that I do, so filling in the areas which I'll show you in a moment of the lesson plan. The levels that I do in my swim program, which we will go into more detail on the 6-week workshop, if you would like to know more about why I've structured the levels how I have. They are age related. So levels 1 is 3 months to 12 months, and then from level 2 is 1 to 2, and so on. So level 7 is actually, if you complete my swim program by level 7, you will be doing your IMs. You're doing all 4 strokes, and that's how I structure my levels. In each level, I actually do it so that you have beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and it's specifically age related, and there's a reason for that, which I will briefly go through in a little bit later. Time-wise, I don't do the traditional 30 minutes. I actually do 45. The reason I do 45 minutes is because I feel as though the children need more time in the water. And my level 1, which is the 3 months to 12 months, they are 30 minutes still, just because obviously they're not moving as much. But when they start hitting 12 months of where they're, they're on the move, they're toddling around, so they want to toddle around more so in the water. So it actually works out really nicely. I've actually changed that last year right at the beginning, and the 45 minutes are really working for me. So what I'm going to do now is I'll give you an example so I can talk through some of these. Is everybody doing okay so far? Hopefully give the thumbs up to Catherine to let you know that everyone is all okay. Okay, so here what I've done, I'll just give you an example. I don't want to put all 7 up. I don't have enough time tonight to be able to go through them all. So these are just 3 examples, and I just wanted to show you a quick way of how I've increased and changed the structure of the lessons. I actually don't do timing, so this is why I've actually done 1 to 8 or 1 to 9. And the reason why I don't do timing is because I'm very child-led. So if there's an area of where the children is wanting to focus more on their back for all of the lesson, then that's what I will roll with. My sessions are very small, so for my level 1s, level 1 to level 3 and 4, I have 6 in at a time, and that's it. Sometimes not even that. So we're very much, I can be very much work independently, not so much these days, but I will be able to work more independently with what the children need specifically. A child works in the moment. So if they specifically want to be on their back the whole lesson, or they really don't want to be on their back the whole lesson, then I roll with that. I'm very much and so passionate about this, in the sense that we're here for the children, and we're here to teach them to swim. Yes, absolutely. And that is just, one of the most important things for a child to learn, for sure. This is something that they have for life. But I also feel that this is our time to bring in some playful element, and for them to enjoy their lessons, to can't wait to get here. And my children, my parents just love coming to every lesson. So that's why I roll with it. So just really quickly, because I know I'm taking a little bit more time, so sorry about that. I always do the same welcome song, and I always do the same goodbye song. And I do that right through from level 1 to level 5. And level 5 is age 4 and 5-year-olds. And actually from level 4. Some children like doing it on level 5, but again, I'll roll with it. So if they like it, then I will do it. So the welcome song's always the same, goodbye is always the same, and there is a reason for me to do that, and I'm not going to go into it too much tonight. I go through that in my 6-week workshop, the reason why I do the same songs. The warm-ups, and again, I'm not going to go through these, but some of these I've actually put on the Facebook page already. I will be giving a couple of these away tonight. There are a couple on Facebook page which I've already put on. So here you'll notice on level 4 that I've put here about the Orca swim trainer, which is what I mentioned briefly earlier on. I want to just go to the next slide so you can see. So just briefly, because obviously it's a key word at the moment, you're probably thinking, what is this Orca swim trainer? Like I said, I've designed this, and we've been testing it for a year, and it works absolutely amazingly. It's actually for ages 18 months to 5 years. So my aim for when I have all of the children go through my swim program by 5 years old, they will not need this. These, see the little parcels, if you like, we call those float pads, and it's a graduation program with the float pads. So, sorry, there's a train. So again, I'll go into more detail about this if you would like to know more about it. It's a perfect all-in-one learn to swim aid, from paddler to confident swimmer. And basically it gives enough buoyancy for the child to practice their swim skill without struggling. So it really enables them to give them that time to focus on a specific skill set. It's just, I just love it. It's fantastic. And then, like I said, again, I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail on a different webinar. So all right, so that was just to let you know from that previous slide what the swim Orca was meaning. They actually do take it off, which I'll show you another example now. All right, so here's, I've just picked level 4. I can't go through all the examples for all of the levels. Again, if you're working to a specific criteria, then you can use all of this to then put in with what you're doing. So like I said, I don't do timings. I just go from one point to the next. I do obviously have this structure because children still like structure. So they like to know what's coming next. And that's why I do the same, the same key elements, but then I change it out. So I actually have 45 different themes. Obviously, I can't go through them all tonight, but it will be based on seasons, you know, holidays, and anything that children are fantastic, what they're interested in. And I tend to do so when I went to talk about the action songs. So for instance, here the song that I've done is the head, shoulders, knees and toes, which we're all very familiar with. I'm sure you already do that, but it just enables them to move in the water, and also it's a learning opportunity for them. So a lot of the action songs that I use are a learning opportunity for them as well. So I also see the pool as a classroom. I am an educator as well, so I see any opportunity for a child to learn. So adding in numbers, colours, which then taps into their senses as well, which all round is obviously a win-win situation. I pretty much do about 2 or 3 songs every lesson. So within those 45 lesson plans, I have at least 4 or 5 songs that can be chosen. So if you find that 45, oh my goodness, is far too many, and you only want to do a selection of, then you know if you're wanting to do pirates twice, or if you're wanting to do dinosaurs twice, then you can still change out the songs if you want to. The songs are easy enough to know and to learn because they're based on songs that we already know, and I've just changed out the lyrics. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of this in massive amounts of detail because I don't have time tonight. I'm very conscious of the time. And what I then also use, which I'll be giving to you as well tonight if you would like it. So for each point that I have on here, I then use the sort of ideas sheet, if you like, to take poolside, so I can then pull across of the action songs I want to use, or, you know, okay, front kicking isn't working for that one, then I'll use that one. So you've got some ideas you've already thought about, or, you know, that we have put together that you can just pick across. All right. So like I mentioned here, the swim Orca starts at level 3, which is age 2. If they do show signs in level 2 that they are wanting to go off on their own, you probably might find that a lot of that age are pushing away from you, or they're pushing away from their parents and they're wanting to go off. Then that is the sign to me that they are ready and raring to go. So you're giving them that opportunity to be independent in the water. So that will start at level 2, but they will take it off at level 6 for when they do swims without it. So you've done all the hard work at the beginning of the lesson, got them going, they're moving, they don't stop. And then at this point of this level 6, I take them off so that they're actually able to do their water confidence games. And then we do safety skills. They're pretty much doing side work. So, you know, if they're they're not quite sure about jumping in yet, then they're doing it sitting down first and lowering themselves in. Some children really don't want to jump in. So I actually, we just say, well, can you lower yourself in to show me how you get in and out safely? Also, throughout of this lesson, I'm always asking questions. So at no point of the lesson are they still, and I'm asking, sort of general safety skills. So if I enter the pool now, what do I need to look for? I don't do that. We will always have the conversations in the water as they're doing it, which is why it then refers back to the investigating and the, exploring, that sort of thing. So that's how I integrate everything that way. With the older children, I don't use floats, kickboards. I actually use barbells, and I also use dumbbells. So obviously water dumbbells and water barbells. I just feel that that's enabling them to be in the proper position of the water. I know there's a way you can hold on to the kickboard so it's easier for your back, but I find personally that using barbells and dumbbells in the water helps with their starting with their front crawl and their back strokes, and especially breaststroke. Butterfly, I do it differently as well. So, but again, that's I can talk about that later on a different different webinar or in my 6-week workshop. So I hope that makes sense. The time to go bit again is I always do another song to finish. And that song is always a goodbye action song. So I'm allowing the children to start and the parents to start getting themselves mindful that they're finishing the lesson, it's time to go. And they start winding down from the lesson, preparing themselves ready to leave. And that works really well. And the goodbye song they love. So I just wanted to give you a couple of examples. This is my pirate theme. And this is just one of the songs that we sing. Sometimes you use this when they're jumping into the side or off the steps. And this is also an example of the type of toys or props that I use, that I find, and I'll let you know how I get to this bit in my next bit. So how I figure out what I'm going to use. So that's my pirates, and again, that's just one of the themes. This is my next example of the monsters. You may have already used it, but I use a lot of these props, and they're very colourful. I use very much different sensory type of textures, especially for the younger ones of level 1. I use quite a lot of sensory tools. And lights and things that they're touching, and even with the older ones they love it as well. I use a lot of puzzles. The older children absolutely love it, so it's a game that you can play with them. If you don't have any of these that you've bought, then you can also make them. So I have tried to attempt to make my own as well, which have gone down very well, and they love that. So like I said, the older ones love anything games, just going and getting and building, and it's really nice to watch them, putting everything together, oh, you go get that bit, and oh, I'll go and get this, and in the meantime they're doing all their strokes, they're practicing, they're moving, and it's really nice to watch it, and they all come together. My older ones, so my level 5 to 7, I only have 4 in a group. There's no more than that, sometimes less than that, and it works really nicely, that number. All right, so as an example of my monster theme, there's a few other things there that I have as well, monster feet, and I use, like ping pong balls as eyes, and that's the breath control part. And, sometimes I put these little things under the water and they're trying to find them and things. So again, I'll do more of that in my 6-week workshop, but there's just, it's just a ton of things that you could be doing. I've got so many ideas. So this is just a quick video. So I will, hopefully it will work, of where I am, my pool. Hopefully it will work. Come on. If it doesn't, then I'll post it up on Facebook so you can watch it. It's just a very short video. I don't know if it will load. So of how I structure and where I put all my things out on poolside. I think this is probably my spring theme, where the balls are pollen, and I've used nets and things there. The noodles I use the connectors on the end, so they are vehicles. So they were bugmobiles in that one. And you can't see, so sorry, the video's not working. I knew there'd be one thing that wouldn't work. There's loads of different things around the outside that I've put together. And there's a specific reason why I've put them where I've put them. And again, I don't have time to go through that tonight, but there is a reason to why I've put all these things out. All right, it's not going to work. So if anyone's interested in that, then I'll post it on the Facebook page so you can see it, so you can see how I've laid them out, and there's some ideas on there of what props that I've used. All right, it's not working. Sorry about that. Okay, so how do I then formulate, or how do I get to my themes? So what is my process? So what do I use? Hopefully it will come up. Okay, so there's a number of places, and I have taken a very long time putting all this together. So all those 45 themes have come from this formula, and it's taken me, so throughout the whole of 2019, this is where I've gone. So a lot of you may have already used Pinterest. Pinterest is amazing. I use Pinterest quite a bit. YouTube, always looking. I know a few people that have already got their own YouTube channels, and they're fantastic. So, you know, like I said at the beginning, this is helping each other out, you know, giving each other some ideas of what we can do just to help the children and for us. Because I know from when I was doing lessons after lessons after lessons, just even having that refreshed thing to do with them really helped me as well. So obviously I read a lot of children's books for my son, so I get quite a few ideas from those. Obviously from other Facebook pages that we're all part of, and of course you've kindly on my page now as well, which I will give even more ideas. And I also look at what dry land franchises do. So how and what do they do, and how can I then change it so it can go into the pool? So what do they do that is effective, and why people love it, and why can't I create it into the pool? So then where do I find all these tools? So I look all over the place. I've made some myself. You can be creative with the equipment that you've got now. I look on Facebook Marketplace, I go on eBay, and with eBay and Amazon, I will look on there just for ideas as well. I go to charity shops when they were open. And also when, I don't know if everybody has mum-to-mum markets around their area, but I also walk around there sometimes as well and get some ideas of what I want to use. Like I said, I use my swimming lessons as a learning opportunity. So any chance I get, I will do an informal little lesson for them as well. So that's how you make your epic swimming lessons. So that is the magic formula. And so you have all your ideas, you have all your props, and of course you add in your swim Orca trainer, your Orca swim trainer, because then they're able to really focus on what they're doing and what they're achieving. So from putting all of those together and using your formula, you know what type of teacher that you are, how you want to teach, how you want to structure your lessons. You have the idea, you have the bone structure of where and what you want to achieve, and you just take in and out of you know, in and out of what activities you're wanting to do based on how you've formulated that. And this is why you're able to create fun activities. You're able to inspire yourself, but you're also being able to inspire your children. This is beautiful, Harry. Not my son, Harry, different Harry. You're able to come up with many innovative ideas. I have loads of them. So again, that's why I want to form a community, because my brain is constantly going with all these ideas. So that will never end. So lots of innovative ideas. My creative juices do flow a lot, especially see if you can see a little swift prosecco there. This was my weather theme of making a cool weather map. And I want you to think about how unique you can be. So I feel that me bringing what I bring to my swimming lessons using my swim program, the SWIM, that I am unique. And what I bring is my USP. So what's my unique selling point? And my customers and my children, as long as they're happy, I'm extremely happy. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, is because of these children and the parents. That's what makes it for me. And I hope this makes you smile, because she's adorable. So not only are you making these guys happy, but you're making yourself happy, because when they smile, you smile. Okay, so you're probably thinking, well, what's next? So hopefully I've given you a number of different ideas, but of course I can't give you too much tonight. Otherwise, I know I'm very conscious of the time already of going through. But so because of all those ideas that I have, I wanted to be able to give back, in the sense that rather than having loads of different webinars, having this 6-week workshop, I thought would work really quite nicely. So to go back to what I first put on about the 4 different elements. So during this 6-week workshop, which I am hoping to start in June, we will be able to spend a little bit more time as to why I have the sensory, water, interaction and movement. Why do these all work together, and how can I then make these lessons epic? How am I using all my tools, and why am I doing this, and what is the reason for that? I have all that in place. I've already done it, so I'm able to show you how to do that. So we'll be able to go into those more details. And I just wanted to give you a visual just from what we would be doing in those 6 weeks, is that we'd be tapping into each one of these. All right, so so the sensory side of things, so looking at why, using those 7 senses, we're building these magical memories. Why is it important to use this multi-sensory approach? Every child, you know, learns differently, so we need to offer them a multitude of ways of learning, and they use their senses in order to experiment. All right, I've obviously mentioned a little bit about the water bit tonight, so figuring out what those epic activities are. We're creating that play area of joy, that happiness. So it's not just learning that swim, you know, skill set, but we're also, you know, the safety side of things is you know, that's nuts. I'm not saying to take that away at all. This is just, we're enabling it to be nice and playful for them. They're children and they love it. And it brings the inner child out in me as well. The interaction part, again, is so important. It's that powerful communication. So the power actually stands for pause, observe, wait, encourage, and then react. All right, so those elements are really important in the communication for enabling for you as well to bond with the child, to gain that trust. Once you've got that trust with that child, you know, they are like putty in your hands. You're able to do whatever, you know, whatever, they just go with it. But it's also making sure that you're slowing down the time. You're enjoying that time with them. So every time that my parents and children walk into the pool, I'm slow down, just take a moment, breathe as you're coming into the water, being mindful of where you are and things like that. So I feel that's really important to bring into the program as well, which again I'll go through. The movement side of things is connecting that, we're connecting that concept to action. All right, so the more we move, the more we're learning, or they're learning. So memory and movement are linked together. It's really important that we are mindful of the movement of a child and their natural movements that they are, not taking that away from them. So the activities are actually purposeful. So that's why it's the purposeful swim program. So everything I do, there's a reason for it, and we'll go through the movement of why moving is really important to learn. All right. So it's exciting, isn't it? I'm excited. So I feel that especially this time that we're having to go through, we're having to re-strategize everything. So everybody's asking questions. How are we going to do our swimming lessons? Like, I hold on to a child. I'm there with the child. You know, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So I think this enables you to be able to re-strategize how you teach. This program enables you to have this energizing swim program that wants the children to keep coming back and wanting more. All right, and we will look more in for the multisensory approach, the communication, and the learning patterns. And we'll be going through much more, like I've mentioned before. This link below here, now Catherine's going to put into the chat box, that will actually take you straight through to register for the 6th week. It will be starting in June, so it's a great opportunity to come on board, to get all this excitement going, ready for the children to come back. They're going to be thinking, wow, what are we going to come back to? They're really looking forward to coming back to swimming. So what are you going to offer them that's fun and exciting and gets you going again, gets you motivated? So I've done all the hard work for you, which, you know, I have plenty of more ideas to give to you, which I obviously can't go through tonight. So that link, Catherine's going to put it into the chat box now. So you're probably thinking, well, you know, okay, how much is this? Okay, so because we are doing 6 weeks, for today or tonight, if you sign up, it will just be £49, which is a bargain of a price because we'll be going through a lot. How I thought I would structure the 6 weeks is that one day I'll be going through some of the content, excuse me, and then what I'm going to be doing is setting some little challenges. So what we go through, how can that be then put through into action? So how am I going to do what I've learned, and what am I going to do? So we'll go through how to structure these epic lesson plans, how to make it, exciting and refreshing. And then we'll come back together on another day during that week then to go through everything. So it's very interactive. We're going through everything. I will give you all the content, and it's just, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be really lovely to have like-minded teachers together, helping each other out, and I'll be able to guide you through that. So tonight, if you would like to do the workshop, I'm going to throw in there two free themed epic lesson plans. So you've already seen tonight a number of different ideas of what you can put in, little snippets, and that will be for all of my levels, so you can tweak them to how you want to have them that fits in with what you're doing. The song sheets are ready, they're printable, ready. You just print them off and they're ready to go. You laminate them and take them to pool with you. And they'll also have a list of props as to what you can use in that, what works. I've done it already. What works, what didn't. Well, I won't tell you what didn't work because there's no point. But I'll tell you what things that you need. All right. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I've given you all the details for that, because knowing me, and especially this time of night, if anyone's like me, I'm ready for bed myself. So anyway, I wanted to leave this with you. I'll just give you a moment to read that. And that's good timing because there's a train going by. Because children grow up, we think a child's purpose is to grow up. But a child's purpose is to be a child. And I truly believe that my swim program and the way that how I've conducted my swimming lessons enables a child to be a child. So I hope you have enjoyed tonight. If you have any questions, then I'm going to stop sharing in a moment. But I just want to thank you so much. I know you have been on for just short of an hour and I've been talking the whole time. So I'm going to stop sharing. And if you have any questions, then please don't hesitate. I'm going to stop sharing so I can, sorry, I'm trying to do, let's see. Back on. Am I doing stop share? Okay. Okay, so now I can see all the all the comments. If anyone had any questions, then I'm just going to be here for the next couple of minutes. And like I said, this is recording, so if you want to go through it again at another time, then you can do. I know some people weren't able to make this evening because of the time. Some people are in Australia, and it was too early for them to get up. I was asking them, well, why? Why is 5 o'clock? You're not coming onto my webinar? So I will repost that. If it's easier, then I might put it on the Facebook page. If not, then I will put it in the an email and send it if that's easier. And hopefully, you won't be bombarded with all these emails. But you can create your epic swimming lessons now, and I hope that you will join me in my 6-week program. It's going to be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it because I've got so many ideas in my head that I can give to you.
Helen, there are a few questions.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want me to say them out to you rather than you having to go through them?
Yes.
Okay, so Alex asked, do the levels link into the Swim England levels 1 to 7 and 10?
They are transferable, yes.
Okay.
So with because the Swim England's very structured, my swim program is structured in the sense that you can relate it to. All right, so you can pinpoint the different skill sets. So for instance, the activities, if you're doing push and glides, for instance, or if you're wanting to do floats on your backs, that's what I mean by activities. So if you're doing, tumble turns, or how to come back, to how to give ideas of how to do the tumble turns. So yes, it's transferable, absolutely. And I am familiar with Swim England, so that's no problem.
Okay. A question from Alex as well. How does the Orca compare to the swim fin system that's wrapped around the waist?
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
How does the Orca compare to the swim fin system that's wrapped around the waist?
Yeah, okay. Go with Daddy, sweetie pie. Sorry, my son's just woken up, bless him. So the swim fin is basically just on their backs. The Orca swim trainer is around their torso, which is the most important part of where it needs to be buoyant. Whereas the fin on the back is, it actually forces a child forward. That's from my experience of having flotation just on their backs. And some children actually don't like being forced forward. They end up doing more of what I call a turtleneck sort of reaction. And also enables them to roll easily on their backs. They don't have a fin in the way, so it's very snug around their body. There's 9 floats, so 4 in the front and 5 in the back. and the graduation system is such that you start taking the floats out. So when they are ready, the float pads are taken out. So progressively they start going lower, they're not needing as much buoyancy. And I hope that answers that question. So whoever asked that question, if that's okay.
Are you using other swimming aids?
Swimming aids, I only use obviously the Orca swim trainer, but I use the noodles, and like I said, I use the barbells, and I use the dumbbells for the older ones. For the younger ones, we're actually probably level 5, which is 4 and 5 year olds. That's where I would start using barbells. But other than that, then I just use noodles. For when they're on their backs, I actually shorten the noodles so that they're not sort of hitting each other in the way. Does that answer the question?
Deborah's asking, what if one child wanted to do back and the others wanted to do front?
So I'm guessing that this is when they're the older level. It was if they can, if they're still there, if they're specifically asking for the older children, if they're there with their parents, then that's why I have such small groups, is that I'm able to go to them individually. So I'm able to say, so if little Johnny wants to stay on his back, then yes, he stays on his back. For the older ones, I actually do the same. So if they're wanting to specifically stay on their backs, which is another reason why the Swim Orca comes into part, because they're able to do this independently. So I don't actually have to hold them. And you don't have to worry if they let go of their noodles, or if they're using any other type of flotation equipment. So yes, that's to a simple answer. Yes, I do.
Karen's asking, how does the Orca compare to the turtle pack?
Okay, so the turtle pack just only has 3 or 4 stages to it. We have 9. And again, it's on the back. And I feel that, well, the Orca swim trainer is more tight to the body. It's almost like a second skin. So the children don't really know it's on. And it's part of a swimming costume, so it's all in one. So essentially that's all they need to wear. And having the 9 graduation actually works more effectively.
Okay, last one on the Orca swim trainer. Are your float pads like the oblong ones in the poly otter suits?
No, and there's a specific reason why I've done what we've done with the Orca swim trainer. The reason why they're flat is to enable to be around the area that needs to be buoyant, the area of where it needs help. Going back to those 7 senses, we tap into the balance, so, and body awareness, so enables the children to explore and to figure out at what position they need to be in the water, and it's amazing. It really works. It's brilliant.
Okay.
Can't live without it.
And a couple of people are asking, how much are they?
Okay, well, the Orca swim trainer, so we've done pre-orders, and for the pre-order, we're actually doing a sale, and they are reduced from 45 to 35.
Great. And there's just a couple of people asking a few questions about the workshop. So how long is each workshop? When are they?
Yeah. Okay, so the workshop is 6 weeks. So over those 6 weeks, we will schedule 2 days of a couple of hours. So maybe, 2 hours, say on a Monday, of where we go through some content, and then I set you off with some homework or some challenges or something for you to go away and to work on. And then say we come back on a Thursday, of where we come back to then say, well, I've come up with this, and what do you think, or how could I change this? Because it's all about circumstances. So there's no lesson where it's going to be. That's why sometimes you can't really formulate a specific lesson, because you never know what that day is going to hold. So as long as you have all these different tools and all the, in your little toolbox, in your kit bag, then you can pull out on that according to to what you need. And that's the beauty of it, is being able to be flexible in what you're doing. And this is what the workshop enables you to do, is to be able to be more clearer and to be able to touch into that the kit bag.
So when will they be? Are they in the evening? What times will they be?
Well, I'm open to see what most people wanting to do. I was probably, if it's easier in the morning, if you have children, in the evening, if the children, if they're needing to go to bed, and you're working okay in the evenings, then I'll do that. I'm also very conscious though that there are people internationally that are wanting to do this as well. So again, it could be an afternoon. I know that we're all, well, most of us, especially in the UK, we can't go back teaching anyway. So it could be something that we might want to do during the day. I'm open to suggestions of what works.
Okay, so we did say that it would be an introductory price to this evening for 24 hours, although when you do go onto the site it will say 69, but just carry on doing the registration and then you'll be able to have a drop down to select the 49 tonight. Yes, for everybody, so everybody knows.
Yes, so on the registration page it will specifically say the 69, but on the payment schedule it will give you the option to do the special tonight, which is 49. Yes.
Right.
Any other questions?
Helen's just saying the evening would be better for the course because she's got 2 young children.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Like I said, I'm more than happy to put a poll out on Facebook if anyone wants to give me a couple of options. You know, evenings and afternoons. You know, that's
great.
We'll figure it out, Helen.
That's it.
Okay, so if everyone, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I've actually really enjoyed this. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great weekend. All my love. Bye-bye.